So we have talked a lot about what's been going on with Blizzard, the backlash they've been generating because of the way they handled the Blitzchung situation when, during a post-match interview, he expressed support for Hong Kong protests, which led to his suspension and his prize money being taken away. And we have talked all about how the world's been reacting, but one thing that's been missing this whole time was Blizzard's response, their reaction to all of this, how they would go about moving forward. Well, we finally got that, and I wish I could tell you that they handled the situation the best they could, that they really considered every avenue and pursued the best action possible, but the response seen in this statement right here, it is just so full of crap that I don't know what they're thinking right now, that they think this statement will be enough to assuage people around the world who are pretty pissed or pretty disgusted at how Activision Blizzard has behaved amidst all of this. So the headline for this blog post on Blizzard's official website reads, "Regarding last weekend's Hearthstone Grandmasters tournament." I'd like to go through this whole statement and then share my thoughts and counteract much of what J. Allen Brack, who's the president of Blizzard Entertainment, I'm going to counteract much of what he says here because it is just clearly such BS. So, this post begins with this. "Hello, Blizzard community. I want to take a few minutes to talk to all of you about the Hearthstone Grandmasters tournament this past weekend. On Monday, we made the decision to take action against a player named Blitzchung and two shoutcasters after the player shared his views on what's happening in Hong Kong on our official broadcast channel. At Blizzard, our vision is to bring the world together through epic entertainment, and we have core values that apply here. Think globally, lead responsibly, and importantly, every voice matters, encouraging everybody to share their point of view. The actions that we took over the weekend are causing people to question if we are still committed to these values. We absolutely are, and I will explain." Well, I think it's more important to ask the ground floor developers at Blizzard who have expressed their hesitation and their doubts about the company that they're working for. I mean, just look at what's happening here. Not everyone at Blizzard agrees with what happened. Both the Think Globally and Every Voice Matters values have been covered up by Incense employees this morning. Can J. Allen Brack actually look at what happened here and speak for everyone at Blizzard? Speak for yourself, man, but don't speak for all the employees and staff at Blizzard who are very skeptical about the company after what you guys pulled. The post continued, "Our esports programs are an expansion of our vision and our values. Esports exists to create opportunities for players from around the world, from different cultures, and from different backgrounds, to come together to compete and share their passion for gaming. It is extremely important to us to protect these channels and the purpose they serve, to bring the world together through epic entertainment, celebrate our players, and build diverse and inclusive communities." As to how those values apply in this case, first, our official esports tournament broadcast was used as a platform for a winner of this event to share his views with the world. We interview competitors who are at the top of their craft to share how they feel. We want to experience that moment with them. Hearing their excitement is a powerful way to bring us together. Over the weekend, Blitzchung used his segment to make a statement about the situation in Hong Kong, in violation of rules he acknowledged and understood, and that is why we took action. I'll emphasize again that everyone understands that there are guidelines in tournaments that one must adhere to, that they must agree to before participating in a tournament. The issue isn't that Blizzard took action, it's how severe and extreme those actions were, how excessive the punishment was. That's the issue. The severity of the punishment was more akin to how China would have reacted to somebody speaking for Hong Kong and against China versus how an American company who is enforcing rules would take action. And then it reads right here, "Every voice matters, and we strongly encourage everyone in our community to share their viewpoints in the many places available to express themselves. However, The official broadcast needs to be about the tournament and to be a place where all are welcome. In support of that, we want to keep the official channels focused on the game. Okay, fair enough, but the question everyone's asking is, did what Blitzchung said during the post-match interview warrant such a strong punishment? Did it warrant getting banned from the Grandmasters tournament for a year? Did it warrant getting his prize money stripped away? I think most will agree that the answer to that question is a resounding no. Second, what is the role of shoutcasters for these broadcasts? We hire shoutcasters to amplify the excitement of the game. They elevate the watchability and help the esports viewing experience stay focused on the tournament and our amazing players. Third, were our actions based on the content of the message? Part of thinking globally, leading responsibly, and every voice matters is recognizing that we have players and fans in almost every country in the world. Our goal is to help players connect in areas of commonality, like their passion for our games, and create a sense of shared community. The specific views expressed by Blitzchung were not a factor in the decision we made. I want to be clear, our relationships in China had no influence on our decision. Who is going to buy that utter complete bullshit? Let me show you something right here. So this is what happened when Blitzchung said what he did. The English channels, the English social media and stuff, posted the following statement talking about, oh, he violated some rules. But in China, in Blizzard's Chinese social media channels, here's what was posted. We are very angered and disappointed at what happened at the event and do not condone it in any way. We also highly object the spreading of personal political beliefs in this manner. Effective immediately, we have banned the contestant from events and terminated work with the broadcasters. We will always respect and defend the pride of our country. Does that sound like Blizzard's relationship with China had no influence in their decision? Not to mention there's the discrepancy of these American players from the American university holding up the following sign that reads "Free Hong Kong" and "Boycott Blizzard" during an official college Hearthstone tournament, not getting banned, not getting any consequences, whereas Blitzchung, for just saying "liberate Hong Kong," not even saying "boycott Blizzard," just saying this part essentially, just for that, Blitzchung was punished to the fullest extent, while these American players were left to continue partaking in the tournament. And these players found this to be hypocritical, which is why it reads right here, Blizzard TESPA has decided not to penalize American University for holding up their sign and has scheduled their next match, but American University has decided to forfeit the match and the season, saying it is hypocritical for Blizzard to punish Blitzchung, but not them. Given how severely Blitzchung was punished versus the American University students, despite both of them having done pretty much the same thing, do they honestly expect us to believe that their relationship with China had zero, absolutely no influence in their decision? Come the hell on. You can do better than that, Blizzard. You can BS better than that. The post continued, we have these rules to keep the focus on the game and on the tournament to the benefit of a global audience. And that was the only consideration in the actions we took. Again, we don't believe you. If this had been the opposing viewpoint delivered in the same divisive and deliberate way, we would have felt and acted the same. So what J. Allen Brack is trying to say here is that if a player would have come on an official Blizzard broadcast and said, "Long live China," or something along those lines, they would have received the same punishment, the same treatment as Blitzchung here. I have my serious doubts about that. Given the relationship between Blizzard and China, given how important the Chinese market is to Blizzard, given the financial interest that Blizzard and China have together, I am going to call BS on that as well. That China would let Blizzard humiliate one of their own, calling for the success of China be dragged through the mud. The post continued, okay, what could Blizzard have done better and where do we go from here? Over the past few days, many players, casters, esports fans, and employees have expressed concerns about how we determined the penalties. We have had a chance to pause, to listen to our community, and to reflect on what we could have done better. In hindsight, our process wasn't adequate, and we reacted too quickly. We want to ensure that we maintain a safe and inclusive environment for all our players, and that our rules and processes are clear. All of this is in the service of another important Blizzard value: play nice, play fair. Well, you certainly botched that one. In the tournament itself, Blitzchung played fair. We now believe he should receive his prizing. We understand that for some, this is not about the prize, and perhaps for others, it is disrespectful to even discuss. This is not our intention. So one way Blizzard is backpedaling is by saying, okay, we're not going to take the prize money that Blitzchung earned away from him. We're going to give that back. But playing fair also includes appropriate pre- and post-match conduct, especially when a player accepts recognition for winning in a broadcast. When we think about the suspension, 6 months for Blitzchung is more appropriate. Wow, you're so generous. Jesus Christ. After which time he can compete in the Hearthstone Pro Circuit again if he so chooses. There is a consequence for taking the conversation away from the purpose of the event and disrupting or derailing the broadcast. All Blitzchung did was say liberate Hong Kong, put on the mask, and then that took, a few seconds, and then it was over before we knew it? That was about as severe as that situation got. There was no real disruption or derailing of the event. And come on, really? 6 months for Blitzchung is more appropriate? That is your response? That is your solution to this PR nightmare that you have brought upon yourself? 6 months is still way too severe of a punishment. All this really is a reduced sentence, not really an absolution. So I don't know about you, but I don't feel as though the Blizzard community, the media who have been keeping up with this, the casters, the pro players, everyone who's spoken out, I don't think they're gonna feel particularly relieved about this situation. To me, this feels like China doing damage control, not Blizzard. It feels like China's recognized just how much attention they've given to the Hong Kong protests inadvertently, and so they're recognizing that they have to take a step back, but they still have to make an example out of Blitzchung for daring to say, liberate my country, so they're still keeping it at 6 months. I mean, where do you stand, Blizzard? Where do you stand on this issue? I'm sorry, you've got to have a stance at this point. Given your relations to China, you can't just claim that you're neutral about this whole situation. Do you stand for democracy or do you stand for authoritarianism? From where I'm sitting, you stand with whichever side has the moolah, whichever side has the green to inject into your company. That's all you seem to care about. The post then says, with regard to the casters, remember their purpose is to keep the event focused on the tournament. That didn't happen here, and we are setting their suspension to 6 months as well. Okay, so at the very least, it's not a lifetime ban or anything of the sort, which is what I believe what it was previously. They were just fired outright. But I say again, this is just a reducing of the sentence. This is not enough. This is just not enough, Blizzard. The post then concludes with, moving forward, we will continue to apply tournament rules to ensure our official broadcasts remain focused on the game and are not a platform for divisive social or political views. One of our goals at Blizzard is to make sure that every player everywhere in the world, regardless of political views, religious beliefs, race, gender, or any other consideration, always feels safe and welcome both competing in and playing our games. At Blizzard, we are always listening and finding ways to improve. It is part of our culture. Thank you for your patience with us as we continue to learn. Sincerely, J. Allen Brack, President of Blizzard Entertainment. It should also be noted that there is nothing in terms of an apology here. I mean, J. Allen Brack talks about how they want people to feel safe regardless of their political views and beliefs and race and gender and whatnot. I'm wondering if J. Allen Brack thinks that Blitzchung felt safe with how severely Blizzard punished the player and the two casters. Did they feel safe when they realized all the work they've done for the career that they worked so hard for, that all of that went down the toilet? Did they feel safe when you did what you did? There's not even an apology here. He doesn't say sorry for the way we went too far with our punishments. Nope, he says, the way he frames it is 6 months for Blitzchung is more appropriate, as if to say that the 1-year punishment is still appropriate, it's just 6 months is more appropriate. There's no signs of regret here. There's no signs of remorse. There's no sign of sympathy or empathy. This statement feels so soulless and full of crap, and just devoid of anything genuine behind it. But really the thing that makes me scoff the hardest, the thing that really gets on my nerves is J. Allen Brack so confidently claiming that their relationship in China had no influence on their decision. That China played absolutely no part in the way Blitzchung, a Hong Kong player, was treated so extremely after he expressed the sentiments that he did in Taiwan. It's laughable, especially given that there's so much of this happening, and what happened with Blizzard and Blitzchung mirrors exactly what's happening with the NBA, South Park, and all these things. So this excerpt I'll read to you again. This paragraph right here talks about similar incidents that's happened in the last year or so. So it reads, last spring, the CBS drama The Good Fight had a parody song about Chinese censorship that got well censored. A recent South Park episode, Banned in China, lambasted that very practice, criticizing how Hollywood self-censors in order to appease the Chinese market. And as a result, the Chinese government scrubbed the show from the state-controlled internet. And of course, in a situation remarkably similar to Chung's, Houston Rockets general manager Daryl Morey tweeted his support of the Hong Kong protests and was subject to immediate censure from the NBA, while Chinese state media and Chinese entertainment conglomerate Tencent suspended the broadcast of preseason games in China. These incidents are a mirror image of what happened during the Hearthstone Grandmasters tournament. With all said and done, my take on this new development is that it still feels like Blizzard is making an example out of Blitzchung and the casters for China. They're just trying to teeter the line better here, but it shouldn't feel like they're being dragged through the mud and being made examples of in terms of expressing solidarity and support for democracy and human rights. 6 months for Blitzchung is more appropriate. Like they're giving a gift to Blitzchung by reducing the sentence. Rather than saying we screwed up, they're saying we'll do less of what you deserve. That's what they're saying to Blitzchung and the casters. The optics are still pretty messed up, if you ask me. And I'm curious to see, especially people who do esports and who are actually pro players and casters, I'm interested to see whether they think this is enough, whether this response is appropriate on Blizzard's part. But in the meantime, I'd love to hear what your take is on everything seen in this post by J. Allen Brack in the comments below. Did you think that this was an appropriate response, or do you feel like I do? Do you feel like Blizzard is full of shit with this statement? Drop a comment below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Yong Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Yong out.